Join the Bhakti podcast with deep insights into all matters spiritual. Like and subscribe to keep up to date with your inner self.
And said translation one more time. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible. And it is supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Now here we're getting some very confidential descriptions of Krishna's home. We don't, as Srila Prabhupada points out, we don't find that in the Bhagavad Gītā. In the Bhagavad Gītā, that's a different conversation, and it's centered around some basic concepts of we are spirit, not this material body. More key verse, dehinosmin yadate kaumaram yovanam chara tatate antaraprapti dhirastatra namuyati. Dehinosmin, as a soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So that is Bhagavad Gītā. Basic knowledge about the soul, about the body, about our relationship with Krishna, self-realization, who we really are. And the example is very nice. As we are the soul. Sometimes people say, yes, I have a soul. I acknowledge I have a soul. No, we don't have a soul. We are the soul and we have a body, this way around. Not I have a soul, I am this body, I have a soul. No, I am this soul. That's our identity. And I have, at the moment, a material body. So the example of this verse, Bhagavad Gītā verse, is very nice. Because it explains that the bodies are changing, in this life even. We passing from boyhood to youth to old age. We are traveling, we, consciousness, we, the soul. The bodies are changing, but the soul is not changing. The soul stays permanent, unchangeable. And another verse explains that soul cannot be cut into pieces, cannot be dried by the wind, and cannot be in any way be harmed. Why? Because the soul is pure spirit. Spirit cannot be subdued by this material energy, by any weapon, by anything material. Because spirit is supreme. Spirit is of the same quality as Krishna. So one could say we are small Krishnas. And the small, that is important part. We are not like Krishna. We are in quality like Krishna, but very, very tiny, insignificant, small. Just like the sparks in the fire. The sparks are not the fire. They are tiny little sparks emanating from the fire. So that's our position. We are tiny, small, insignificant, small little sparks of that grand and great fire which is Krishna. So the question arises, what's the relationship between the soul and the supreme soul, or Paramatma, or Parameshvara? That relationship is that of servant and master. We are meant to serve Krishna. Everybody is engaged in some sort of service in this material world. Everyone, without exception. But people don't know who to serve. People serving their family, their wife, their husband, their children. People may serve the community. even the country, even mankind, humanitarian, philanthropist. I'm serving mankind. That's better or greater than serving our own little family unit. Of course, this is not to say we shouldn't do our duty in that family unit. Yeah, we must. But we must not identify. That's all there is. I serving my family. That's my highest duty. It's not. That is one duty we have to fulfill, no doubt. But after we're leaving this body, this family unit, we have no relationship anymore. And by the ocean of time, we are coming together with other living entities and we are separated again. The example is given just like some straw in the ocean. Somehow or other, some pieces of straw coming together by the waves and by the wind, and the next moment they're separated again. That's our position with our friends and family and loved ones. We come together for a little bit of time, and then we separated again. And latest, when the time of death occurs, then we separated. So these relationships are temporary. But we have an eternal relationship with Krishna. Krishna is not like this. We are never separated from Krishna. Not even if we degrade ourselves and have to accept the body of a cat or a dog, we are not separated from Krishna. Paramatma, Krishna, as a super soul, is also present in the body of a dog. So Krishna is not saying you have degraded yourself by your activities and now you are in the body of a dog. Sorry, I don't want to follow you. So, no, Krishna is following. Even if we degrade ourselves with the animal species. And some people, they think evolution only goes upwards. No, it doesn't. We can degrade ourselves by our action and association with similar sinful people. And then we take on a body in the lower modes of nature, in ignorance or in passion. And the body in ignorance is sure to, if we cultivate that mode of ignorance, there's every chance we receive the body of an animal in our next lifetime. And then we have to again, by spiritual evolution, come to the human form of life. Through the cow in the mode of goodness, through the tiger or lion in the mode of passion, and through the monkey in the mode of ignorance. These are the three gateways of crossing over from the animal kingdom into the human species. Our Charles Darwin, he has only discovered crossing over in the mode of ignorance from the monkey to the human. And he thought, that's all. Every human being comes from the monkey. No. Some spirit souls, their evolution goes through the cow or through the tiger or lion. Three types of crossover into the human species. So it may take quite some time until we come again to the human form of life. Therefore, this human form of life is ever so special. Very rare. 8,400,000 species of life. The Shastra, the Vedas mention. 400,000. These are the human forms. Distinguish human species. The majority are animal species. So even from that point of view, the human form of life is very rare, rarely achieved, very special. And we must do our very best not to spoil this great gift. We have come to the human form of life. We don't want to go back into the animals' forms of life. So at least to do that, we have to keep ourselves in the mode of goodness. But here, Lord Krishna is explaining something much, much more and higher. In fact, it is the highest realization which Lord Krishna speaks about, and Srila Prabhupada gives some more detail what it is about. In previous verses, we have heard that at the end, the partial devastation at the end of Brahma's day, there the living entities enter into Garbhodakashai Vishnu. There are the three Vishnus, Karnatakashai Vishnu or Mahavishnu, who lays on the coastal ocean. And from his pores and breathing emanate all the universes, not the planets, the universes. They emanate from Mahavishnu. And they enter again into the gigantic body of Mahavishnu at the time of the total cosmic devastation. So it's circular. It goes around in circles, but the time is 311 trillion, more than 311 trillion years until the total universe is entering back into the body of Mahavishnu and a new creation starts. So Brahma's day is shorter. Brahma's day is 8 billion, 40 billion, not trillion, billion years. That's Lord Brahma's day. We heard in previous verses. And at the end of Lord Brahma's day, he enters into Yoga Nidra. He enters into that Vishnu who is manifest in each and every universe. And we probably know that this second Vishnu, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, from his navel sprouts a lotus flower. And Lord Brahma appears on that lotus flower. What a beautiful creation story is that. Let's compare it with a Christian creation. On the first day, God created, second day, third, fourth, 5, 7th day. And all the creatures are created. It doesn't contradict at all. But the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Vedic literature goes much, much more in detail. There's chapters and chapters. How Lord Brahma appeared on that lotus and he did not know. Everything, the universe was dark. He did not know what to do. Neither could he find his origin. So he traveled down the stem of the lotus and there was no end to it. And up again, and then he heard the syllables tapa, tapa, which means tapasya, tapa. So he sat down and meditated. And then he heard the flute of the Lord and he was transmitted Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhurvasvata Savituvarinyam, and so on. That Gayatri Mantra is well known. There are many songs of this Gayatri Mantra. Also, these Gayatri Mantras are secret mantras, but that first Gayatri Mantra is not secret. It's everywhere. One can find them. YouTube, internet, and so By the time of Brahminical initiation, devotees getting 7 Gayatri mantras. That first Gayatri mantra is called the Brahma Gayatri, because it has been given to Lord Brahma. And it's focused on Krishna's effulgence, divine effulgence, which is the Brahma Jyoti, the all-pervading effulgence of the Lord, emanating, being reflected from his toenails. That's a Brahma Jyoti. Pervading everything, all the planets in the spiritual skies are resting on that Brahma Jyoti. So, that is the first Gayatri mantra. Then there is the Guru mantra and the Guru Gayatri and a Gaura, Lord Chaitanya mantra and the Gaura Gayatri. And then there is a Gopal mantra, which Gop Kumar, when he traveled to the spiritual world, he was chanting this mantra. It got him higher and higher and higher. And then the last of the Gayatri mantras of the 7 is a Kama Gayatri. So these are secret mantras which one receives at the time of Brahminical initiation from the spiritual master, whispered into the right ear, along with a Brahmin thread, Brahminical thread, wrapped around the right side of one's body. And then after Brahminical initiation, the devotee chants these 7 Gayatri mantras 10 times each of them in the morning, first thing early in the morning, possibly at the Brahma Muhurta time, before sunrise. And the second time we're chanting when the sun is in the zenith, midday time, and evening time when the sun is going down. So that is after Brahminical initiation. These are the Gayatri mantras. So we have here Lord Krishna, through his playing his flute, he initiated Lord Brahma into the Gayatri mantra. And then Lord Brahma, he got the intelligence how to create. Lord Brahma is known as a secondary creator. Who is a primary first creator? That is Lord Vishnu. He's creating all the universes coming out of his body. Ultimately, Krishna is behind everything. So this Karana Dakashai, Vishnu Karana means the causal ocean. When the universe is coming out of Karana Dakashai, Karana, the Vishnu who lays down in the causal ocean. When all the universe is coming out in seed form from his pores and is breathing and expanding, then that Lord Vishnu, he glances over material nature and impregnates material nature with the living entities, with the spirit souls. Like everything in this universe, there must be some impregnation. There must be a seed, an egg, flowers, plants, human species, animal species. So in order to create progeny, there must be a seed and a receptor also. So Lord Vishnu is impregnating material nature with also living entities, and then they're starting their activities, the various activities. That's not from scratch, because these living entities have been in the body of this Mahavishnu for 311 trillion plus years, resting after the total devastation, in seed form. Individual, that individuality is always there, And the karma and desires are also there. That is never destroyed. Likewise, that was a description of the total devastation at the end of Lord Brahma's 100 years. Then he also dies. And then all the universes enter back into the body of Mahavishnu. But at the end of Lord Brahma's day, which is a shorter period, not trillions, it's billions of years, then at that end of Brahma's day, everything enters into that Vishnu. That breathing Vishnu, inhaling Vishnu, everything enters into that Vishnu for Brahma's night. And a nice example is given. It is just like, likewise with Mahavishnu, it is just like a film, the old type of film rolls. At one point, when Brahma's night arrives, the projector stops. The projector is turned off. All activities of all the living entities they stop. They don't create karma. They don't experience karma. The individuality stays intact. It is just inactivity for as long as Lord Brahma's day, because his night is the same duration. And then when Brahma's new day arrives, then the living entities, the film projector starts rolling again. And all the pictures coming up again, and the living entities bustling here and doing this and doing that, experience their karma, and at the same time they're creating new karma. Everything goes back where it stopped. Like in the film reel stopped when the electricity is switched off. At Brahma's night and at Brahma's day, electricity back on, and the film reel starts where it stopped. So that's known as a partial devastation at the end of Brahma's day. So we heard about these different scenarios. And Krishna said, but there is my supreme abode, the spiritual world, which is not influenced by this partial devastations, and not even by the total devastation, where all the universe is going back into the body of Mahavishnu. No, the spiritual world is beyond. So one could ask, what is the spiritual world? First of all, Srila Prabhupada gave us a kind of an idea of the size, the total material creation, with all the millions, billions, trillions, innumerable universes. We are not the only universe. We are a rather small universe. Lord Brahma is there with 4 heads. There are larger universes where Lord Brahma has 8, 36, 64, and hundreds of heads. These are bigger universes. They all are of different size. These innumerable universes, beyond these material universes, they are compared to 1/4 of the total creation. All the different universes, innumerable universes, 1/4 of the total creation. And 3/4 of the total creation are the spiritual planets, the spiritual world. So vastly bigger, larger. Let's just give us some idea of the size. And there are living entities, innumerable living entities. And there are nitya siddhas. Nitya means eternally, and siddhya means perfected devotees, eternally perfected devotees. They never come to this material world. They're eternally perfected souls. They don't make choices of misusing their independence. So that's the spiritual world. And a border between the material and spiritual world is also given Its name's the Viracha River. The covering of the universe. The universe has particular size. We're speaking of our universe. And the size is also mentioned in Shastra. Our scientists and astronauts, they haven't yet discovered the end of the universe. So the universe is like a egg-shaped. It's like a sphere. And then at the end of the universe, there are layers. Bhumi, Apo, Nalo, Vayu, and so on. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. These are the layers of covering the universe. And each layer is 100 times thicker than the previous one. That's the Viracha River. Beyond the Viracha River and beyond this covering, the spiritual world starts. We have some hints in Bhagavad Gītā. It's that world where no sunlight and moonlight, no electricity is needed. Everything is self-illuminating from the effulgence of Krishna. So here in today's verse, Lord Krishna goes a step further, not only speaking about the devastation, and not only hinting there is a higher abode which never gets destroyed, but he directly describes Goloka or Goloka Vrindavan. Of course, besides Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world is so vast, there are innumerable spiritual planets. And every spiritual planet is presided over by a form, by a Vishnu form. These are called the Vaikuntha planets. Vaikuntha. Vai means without, Kunta means anxiety. Vaikuntha means without anxiety. Mehul, Hare Krishna, welcome.
Hare Krishna.
So Vaikuntha means without anxiety. This world, this material world is Kunta, full of anxiety. Vaikuntha, without anxiety. That's the spiritual world. And we have wonderful descriptions of Gopkumar, a Jiva, a living entity, like every one of us, traveling by the power of his mantra given by his guru. And that mantra was that Gopal mantra we just spoke. The 6 of the Gayatri mantras. And he travels to higher planets, Svargas, the heavenly planets, which many religions think that's the goal, heaven. Heaven is not the goal, it's still in the material sphere. It's a heavenly planet, but the living entities live for 10,000 and 100,000 years there. And the enjoyment in the heavenly planets is you cannot even imagine. Even we have some enjoyment here, facility for enjoyment, the greatest possible enjoyment on this earth planet. The heavenly planets is thousands and thousands times greater enjoyment. And the demigods presiding in the heavenly planets, they're all devotees of the Lord. But even they sometimes they forget. But generally they're all devotees of the Lord. They're regulating the cosmic functions. So these are Vaikuntha planets, and this Gopkumar, he traveled higher up to the Svarga, heavenly planets, to Mahaloka, Tapaloka, Jnanaloka, Chanaloka, and up, until he came to Satyaloka or Brahmaloka. That's the planet of Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma's night comes, we just explained that everything is withdrawn into the body of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And all the planets, lower planets below Brahmaloka, they're all destroyed. Brahmaloka stays intact. And so sages who have been situated on, let's say, Tapaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, they, when the time of Brahma's night arrives, they travel to Brahmaloka, not to be involved in the devastation. And Brahmaloka survives. Of course, when the total destruction comes, then Brahmaloka is also destroyed. So this Gopkumar, he traveled to Brahmaloka. And there it so happened that Lord Brahma left his post. Lord Brahma is a post. It changes. Each universe has a different Lord Brahma, and after the universe is destroyed, at the end of Lord Brahma's life, a new Lord Brahma is appearing. What's the qualifications of Lord Brahma? Like we could say, what's the qualification of a king or president or prime minister? Lord Brahma, this position is a position, like a king. He is the most pious living entity in the entire universe. Most pious. There we might be, or there might be the most pious person in a family. Someone is known to be pious, more pious than everybody else. There might be someone who is most pious in the community, in the country, in the whole world even. But Lord Brahma is the most pious living entity in the entire universe. Therefore, he gets that position of Lord Brahma. What does it mean, pious? Pious and sinful. Sinful, of course, means going against the laws of nature, indulging in sense gratification. That is sinful activity. Generally, we think of sinful activity is when we involved in killing animals, when we eat meat, fish, eggs. We think that is sinful. That is certainly sinful, because unnecessarily we causing so much suffering to other living entities. And by indulging in meat consumption, we're destroying our natural quality of compassion. To indulge in meat eating and thinking I'm very compassionate, that's not compatible. Compassion doesn't mean just for the human beings. Compassion means for all living entities. Only a devotee of Krishna can be on that level of compassion, that she has compassion for every living entity. And devotees are known to be very attentive to other helpless living entity. They wouldn't want to harm a single living entity. If by doing some gardening, and sometimes it happens so, some ladybird falls into the water tub. It's not my business. No, it's very much my business. I take a leaf from my hand and rescue the little ladybird. Save his life. And put him into some dry space. The devotees are very compassionate, even to a little ladybird, even to any kind of little bug and fly and worm and whichever. Very compassionate. That's real compassion, not just to the human species. So meat eating destroys that compassion. And so on. Now, these are sinful activities. And generally, people understand pious activities are those activities which helping others, caring for others. Is the most being a humanitarian, a philanthropist. What about the animals? Philanthropist, humanitarian, the word says it. Say feeling and caring for all humanity, but they don't feel and care for the animal kingdom. So devotees going beyond humanitarian. They are compassionate to every living entity, even to the plants. Sometimes we see some children or other people, not only children, they're walking in nature and then they're picking some grass or some top of a plant and then they're throwing it to the ground. The Buddhists would never do that. We don't even hurt a blade of grass. Senselessly picking, pulling the blade of grass and throwing it down to the ground. If we pick grass, flowers, whatever, then we'll offer it to Krishna. A very, very different type of consciousness. Some compassion to the plants as well, as far as we can do it. So, a pious person is generally seen of helping other people. But that's not Srila Prabhupada's definition of pious and sinful. Srila Prabhupada made a very strong statement. Every action which is not meant for pleasing Krishna is sinful activity. Wow, that's a strong statement. Not only the deadly sins in Christianity or meat eating, fish, eggs, gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, these are certainly sinful activities, but it's not only these are the main sinful activities. Therefore, we have these principles to stop them. Because we have been habituated for millions of lifetimes to indulge in sinful activities. Therefore, to follow these regulations and stop these 4 pillars of material life is a great achievement. But actually, we really look at it. Every activity which is not meant for pleasing Krishna is a sinful activity. Because everything in this world is not meant for our pleasure or sense gratification. That's what the materialistic person thinks. Everything in this world is meant for my pleasure. How come? They even go as far. God has created this world for my pleasure. No, that's not the fact. The misunderstanding. God has created this world. We can act in such a way that we're getting out of this material world. We're getting into this material world by wanting to enjoy separately from Krishna. All these objects in the material world is Krishna's energy. It's not, we didn't create. Krishna created. It's Krishna's energy. So we stealing, taking Krishna's energy for our own enjoyment. What is that? Taking Krishna's energy for our own enjoyment. That is, a thief will do that. If the neighbor has a beautiful Lamborghini, a Ferrari, or any beautiful car standing there, the door is open, the keys in the ignition, we think, oh, that's for my enjoyment. Let me have a ride. We're going in the car and we're driving off. Or we'll be punished. Because that is considered we stealing the car of the neighbor. We haven't been aware who it belongs to. It belongs to the neighbor. It's not our car. So likewise, we enjoying Krishna's energies, Krishna, the material energy, all these objects of pleasure. We're enjoying that without offering them first to Krishna, without giving credit to Krishna. We are thieves. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, every activity which is not meant for glorifying Krishna is sinful. That's the ultimate definition of what is sinful. So Lord Brahma is the most pious living entity in the entire universe. So when Gopkumar came to Brahma Loka and Brahma left his position due to certain circumstances, then there must be a Lord Brahma. Otherwise, everything is topsy-turvy. Like we have a country and there is no government. There's no prime minister, there's no president, there's no king. Everything, the thieves and rogues will just come out of the hiding places and having a great time, and so much disturbance and so much criminal activities will take place. That's what the government is for, to keep all these elements in check. So there must be Lord Brahma. Then the inhabitants and the wise brahmanas in Satyaloka and Brahma Loka, so they were looking who could fill the post of Lord Brahma. And then they noticed Gopkumar. And he had all the good qualities of filling the position of Lord Brahma. So they made him to accept the position of Lord Brahma. So Gopkumar took the position of Lord Brahma. But he was not satisfied. It's a very elevated position. After all, Lord Brahma is the ruler over the entire universe. If someone becomes president of a country, he thinks that's the senate of my life. No, that's nothing. Lord Brahma, who governs the entire universe, that's the highest position in this material world. But after some time, Gopkumar was not satisfied because he was in search to meet his beloved Madan Gopal. And that when the opportunity arose and Lord Brahma came back, he left that position of Lord Brahma, and with the help of Narada Muni, he crossed over these layers, these Viracha rivers, these layers of the universe, and he arrived in Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha, where awe and reverence is a mode of worship. When he saw Lord Narayan there, first of all, when he entered Vaikuntha, he saw some persons that looked exactly like Lord Narayan. Bluish color, 4 hands, ornaments, garland, helmets, anklets, bracelets, all of that. So he fell down. Oh, my Lord, Madan Gopal, finally I have achieved you. And they picked him up and said, no, we are not the Lord. We are servants of the Lord. So this was the Vishnu Dutas, or the Vaikuntha Basis, the inhabitants. In Vaikuntha, everyone has a bodily form as Lord Narayan. Exactly. Except the Srivatsa, curly hair on the chest of Lord Narayan. That distinguish the servants of Lord Narayan from the Lord himself. So they took him to Lord Narayan. And then when he saw Lord Narayan, he thought, I have looked through all my long journey through the material worlds. I have looked for my beloved Lord Madan Gopal. Finally, I have achieved him. He said, Gopal, finally. And then the Vaikuntha Basis had chastised him. What are you calling our Lord Narayan? You call him Gopal? Gopal means a cowherd boy. He's not a cowherd boy. And has some affairs with the gopis and all of that. So you show some proper respect. You chastised him like that. So, but his desire was to meet his beloved Lord Madan Gopal. So after some time, He was not satisfied even in Vaikuntha. One of his dissatisfaction was, at the end of the day, Lakshmiji, the goddess of fortune, she said, okay, now everybody go home. The Lord is taking rest. So Vaikuntha Basis and Gopkumar, they couldn't see Lord Narayan for the entire night. So much separation, but because seeing the Lord is so much pleasing to the eyes and the heart, one cannot even imagine. Maybe an example, if someone loves a person in this world and then is separated for 12 hours, that is very difficult to digest, because we want to be with that person 24 hours. So then Narada Muni, again he appeared, and he said, I know what you craving for. He took him to the side, and he whispered, why did he not speak openly? Because the inhabitants of Vaikuntha, they are in that consciousness, they think Vaikuntha is the highest destination possible. So Narada Muni didn't want to disturb the mood of awe and reverence to Lord Narayan. He didn't want to disturb that. So he spoke softly, out of reach of hearing of the Vaikuntha Basis. I know what you desire. You want to see your beloved Lord, Madan Gopal. I will help you. And in no time, Gopkumar found himself entering Ayodhya Dham, which is the planet of Lord Ram, Ayodhya Dham. And it is explained, Ayodhya, the planet of Lord Ramachandra, is a gateway to Goloka. One wants to go to Goloka, he has to travel through Ayodhya Dham. And there was a lot of loving affection with Lord Ramachandra while he was there, but Lord Ramachandra, he could see, like, Gopkumar, you want to go higher. He traveled from there to Dwarka Dham, and then eventually he arrived at Goloka, at the gate of Goloka. We have heard the gate of Vaikuntha, where Chai and Vijay, the gatekeepers, make sure that no unauthorized person can enter Vaikuntha. Because outside of Vaikuntha, there are very unqualified persons. Those who want to achieve merging into the Brahmajyoti, the impersonalists, the Mayavadis, and the demons also, the demons personally killed by Krishna, they're also merging into this Brahmajyoti. But that is outside of Vaikuntha. They're not allowed to enter any of the Vaikuntha planets. So therefore they are gatekeepers. So Goloka has also a gate. And when Gopkumar, he entered to that gate, the first thing he saw was an old man crying. He couldn't understand, was he crying out of happiness or out of sadness? Sometimes it's difficult to distinguish. Someone is crying out of happiness or sadness. Great, strong emotions. And he asked him, where is the palace of Nanda Maharaj? And the old man, he could hardly speak. And later on, he met some other inhabitants of Goloka. And they were all rushing towards the Jamuna. So he was asking, we could see the palace of Nanda Maharaj. Palace, gold, jewels, all of that. Very opulent. And so he asked, where are you going? Oh, the son of Nanda is coming back from the forest after tending the cows with his sakas. So he also rushed. And the people of Vrindavan, they were rushing. The gopis were coming. All day long they haven't seen Krishna. When they heard Krishna is coming home from tending the cows in the forest, they quickly put something on. They were half dressed. They had only one earring on and not the other, and one eye was decorated with kṣara and not the other. They were so much in a hurry that they were not aware of how they decorated or conducted themselves. So much in anxiety to see Krishna after a long day of separation. So Gopkumar, he also rushed on the path near the Jamuna, where Krishna was supposed to come from the forest path. And then one could hear the mooing of the cows. One could hear cows, many cows, calves. Nanda Maharaj had 8 lakhs of cows. How many is that? 1 lakh is 100,000, 8 lakh is 800,000. And then he could hear the flute playing, not only of Krishna. The cowherd boys have also flutes. Some flutes out of stone, out of jewels, out of bamboo, out of metal, various types of flutes. All the cowherd boys have flutes and bugles, buffalo horns, and they love music. They like kirtan. All day long they do kirtan in the forest, glorifying Krishna's glorious activities. And then what they could see was a dust cloud rising from the cows, from their hooves, running. The cows are running in front of Krishna. So Krishna wanted to keep the cows in front. If we have something valuable, we keep it in front. We're not going on Harinam, Sankirtan. It has been done also, and keeping the Mataji's in the back. And some scrupulous people trying to intervene and so many things. And the devotees in the front, they don't even see that. So if we want to protect something, we keep it in front. So the cows also. Because if the cows kept in the back, some cows may get lost. By thinking there is some sweet grass there and enjoying the sweet grass, and before that cow knows, the group of cows, the herd has moved on, and that cow has lost the connection, lost in the forest, and Krishna has to come or send some cowherd boys to find the cows, and so the cows were running, but it wasn't easy to get the cows in front, because Krishna put the cows in front, but as soon as they were in front, they turned around, because they couldn't see Krishna. The cows also want to see Krishna. Krishna is so beautiful that one cannot get one's eyes off Krishna. Even the gopis say, "Cursed Lord Brahma, what a creator! Ye have created eyelids which blink, and while the eyes are blinking, we cannot see Krishna." Imperfect creation. So in Goloka, everyone wants to non-stop looking at Krishna. So blissful, so wonderful is that sight. So when the cows turned towards Krishna, again the cows were behind and Krishna in front, and Krishna went again behind the cows, and the same thing happened again and again, until Krishna encouraged the cows. "I'm here behind you. You can hear me by my flute playing. Don't turn around. Go ahead, and I follow. You can hear me. I'm playing my flute." Then the cows were pacified, and they kept walking in front of Krishna. So from the gopis, and not just the gopis, all the elderly cowherd man, woman, everyone in Vrindavan left everything standing, household chores, household duties, cooking, everything, leave it and run to the path by the Jamuna to welcome Krishna back from a day of tending the cows. Then finally, Krishna appeared. Krishna and Balaram appeared on the forest path. And as soon as Krishna could see this Gopkumar, he called out, my friend Sarupa has come. Thus, that was his real original name, Sarupa, not Gopkumar anymore, Sarupa, Sarup. It's a very interesting thing that our spiritual form is, in the spiritual world, our original form is called Svarup. And here Sanatana Goswami, he named his main character Sarup. And I'm sure that's not a coincidence at all. So that is his final, the original form of Gopkumar. He is a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. So Krishna was running towards him. Running, my friend Sarup has finally come back. And when he arrived, he gave a big hug to Sarup, and then he fainted on the ground. So much love and streams of tears flowing down his eyes. So when we come back to the spiritual world, to Goloka, Krishna is so happy. Finally, we have come back in whatever relationship we have with Krishna. In the case of Gopkumar, it was a relationship of friendship, sakyaras. So then, well, we could go on. Haribol Mehul. We could go on and on. So here, Srila Prabhupada and that verse describes a little bit of the glories of Goloka. Little bit. And there are the beautiful prayers of Lord Brahma after he has stolen the cows, the calves and the cowherd boys, and then he came to his senses. Then he offers these beautiful prayers which are found in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and a beautiful description he gives of Krishna. Like his body is a color like a new cloud. Sometimes it's said like a new rain cloud, bluish, dark bluish, shyam. He has a garland of forest flowers and leaves around his neck. He has gunja earrings. He holds his flute. He has a herding stick. He has a turban. His garments are like lightning. Here in this verse, saffron garments are described. Yellow garments are described. And he has a buffalo horn in his belt and smiling. And in this particular Brahma Vimoha Lila, he has a morsel of food in his hand. Because when Brahma, when the calves have wandered off, the cowherd boys, they were just about to eat lunch. And the calves had wandered off and someone noticed. And they wanted to get the calves back before eating lunch. And Krishna says, no, don't bother yourself. You eat lunch, I will get the cows. So from that, he had already a morsel of food in his hand. So that's a beautiful, beautiful description. And here in that verse, Srila Prabhupada describes also the opulences. Vijay Hare Krishna. the opulences of this supremely blissful place called Goloka Vrindavan. Everything is made out of touchstones. The trees are desire trees. They can supply any eatables. And Chintamani Dham. That, of course, reminds us on Brahma Samhita. Chintamani Prakarasatmasukal Kalpa Vriksha Laksha Videshu Surabhira Pipalayantam, and so on. That is Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma prays, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purple trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. So these descriptions are there in Brahma Samhita, and Srila Prabhupada speaks about that. Oh, the asavas venum kvanantam aravinda dalayadaksham venum, playing on his flute, and so on and so on. So that's the beauty of Goloka. So a little bit of a description is there. There is much, much more. In certain places, what is it like? What is Goloka like? But we will stop here and we will ask if anybody has any questions. Questions. Comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, the Brahma Vimohan Leela is really, really beautiful. The moment one listens the Brahma Vimohan Leela, it first thing that it happens, like the way you have narrated, it happens that it first shatters the ego, wherein Brahmadev also had a lot of ego as an I am the creator. The moment we also say in a very small materialistic world that I am the creator, oh, I am this, I am that, the moment that is there, it is gone. It is like you are just one creator, there are thousands of creators like that. And it is just that, as we say that, what I have understood is, as we say that, we are not this body, we are soul. But even as the soul is powering the body, it is Krishna that is powering the soul. So it is all Krishna. It's the paramāṁ, it's all Krishna, yes. So it was a very, very inspiring narrative, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this. I have not been throughout, but I've been on and off, but I've been listening to you.
And Sakira. That is Sakira. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yes.
We will bring it all out. You will bring it all out. Yes, I'm convinced. Anyone else has a question? Sergey, any question?
I have no question, but it was very inspiring. It makes me want to come to Krishna even more.
Let's go there. Yes. Come on.
Yes, it's very beautiful place. I don't remember that.
Okay, there's a question from Vijay. How do we remember Narayan at the time of death? If so, do we go to Vaikuntha or Goloka? Yes. If we remember and want to remember and we have a relationship with Narayan at the time of death, we go to Vaikuntha. If our relationship with Krishna is in awe and reverence, Vishnu, then we go to Vaikuntha. If we have a relationship with sweet Krishna in the modes of Sakya, friendship, Vatsalya, parental love, or Madhurya, conjugal love. Then we go to Goloka. Vaikuntha is awe and reference. It has been explained. Vaikuntha is like Krishna's office. Sir, what can I do for you, sir? Sir. That's Vaikuntha. Think of an office and subordinates. But Krishna at home, playing with his children don't call him sir, they call him daddy. His wife calls him some sweet names, by his first name, perhaps even. So that is Krishna at home. So Goloka is Krishna at home. Familiar, without any awe and reference. And Vaikuntha is Krishna in the office. If you want to go see Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha in the office, then we can do that. It's a spiritual world, there's no question. It's in awe and reverence and in great opulence. That is Vaikuntha. And if we remember Lord Narayan at the time of death, we will go to Vaikuntha, any of the Vaikuntha planets where Lord Narayan resides. And we can also have any of the muktis, of the liberation. Sarupya mukti, same bodily features as the Lord. As explained before, Gopkumar, he mistook the Vaikuntha bases with their four hands and bluish color. They look just like Lord Narayan. So that is Sarupya mukti. Salokya mukti, to living on the same planet as the Lord. So that is all available. But we have been given that opportunity through our whole Guru Parampara and through Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya, of course, to enter into Krishna's home, Goloka, the highest planet in the spiritual world. Does that answer your question, Vijay?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else has a question?
So if we think of Krishna, we go directly to Goloka. Is that what I?
Yes.
Okay, I see.
If we cultivate that Krishna Bhakti, not Vishnu Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti,
Okay,
then we're heading towards Goloka.
okay.
The sweetest of the sweetest relationship with Krishna. No awe and reference. Well, that's very interesting. For instance, the Sakhas, the friends of Krishna, they have not a tinge in pure Sakyaras. They have not a tinge of that Krishna is superior, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing of that sort. It's just their friend. Sometimes when Krishna loses in a game, Krishna has to carry the cowherd boys on his back. And they taunt him and say, oh, you see, you big man, you're not such a big man. You're carrying me on your back. You lost. So that's a pure Sakya rasa. They're also mixed rasas, mixed relationship. And when we are in danger in this material world and we're calling out for God, what is it most likely? Oh, my Lord! That's not Goloka mood. That's not the cowherd boys or the gopis. They don't think, oh, my Lord. This is awe and reference. So anyway, that's a deep subject matter that Srila Prabhupada was explaining actually as much as he said in that purport of this verse. That is quite astonishing. And that gives us a good idea where to head to her and what to aspire for. The beautiful Goloka. And here we stop. Thank you very much, Mehul, Ramananda, Sergey, Vijay. And we'll see you on Saturday.
Join the Bhakti podcast with deep insights into all matters spiritual. Like and subscribe to keep up to date with your inner self.